Okay, so you said setup was good. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with the setup in terms of posture. You mentioned yourself about pushing hips backwards. I wouldn't push them back any more than what they were today. Okay, they're in a good position there now. As we said, obviously looking for a different angle, but you're looking for sort of spine angle and shaft angle when you're looking from sort of down the line there to be 90 degrees. So if you film any swings or watch any things on camera, you're looking for that sort of landmark there, sort of the spine and the club roughly in that angle. Okay, but once you're set up in that good position, I think what the focus was is making sure that right hip, as we said, needs to be sort of rotating back and around. If we look at it now, you watch the blocks behind there where you're set up, you can sort of see now as you go back, we can start seeing that sort of edge of the block there turning back quite well. So when we first set up there now, that sort of right pocket was covering that edge of the brick, and as you swing back, it appears. So we're sort of moving around there nicely. There's a much more centered movement there, much more rotational to the top of the backswing, and your left leg doesn't seem so much sort of kicked across now. Whereas if we look at this one here now, similar sort of thing with the block behind you, as you go back, it's completely disappeared, and your left leg's moved now as much as you weren't even halfway back. There's a lot of lower half legs, left leg still goes, so your hips there probably moved a good 4, 5, 6 inches laterally before they then start rotating. Well, there's a lot of lateral movement now. Your spine's going to be a bit too much tilted this way, that leg's going to kick a long way across, and this spine's kicking out that with the right hip. So there's just too much sort of this going on, and then to try and get the hips to go this way back to target where they need to be, by moving them a good 4 or 5 inches to the right on the way back, to then try and move them back on the way left, it's just too much movement. And again, what you then try and feel is sensation. Sometimes you're trying to force the issue, and what you might find, because the swing was often getting a bit steep with that, we said what goes up must come down. If you're thumping the ground quite heavy-handed with that grip you had before, that could have been the possible consequence of the tennis elbow. Because if you're coming at the ground and doing this, just banging the ground quite hard, or trying to miss the ground and sort of jerking your arm to try and avoid the ground contact and sort of flinching the arm, that can create a lot of issues there with the elbow causing the pain. Obviously, if we swing more rotational, i.e. the hips rotating this way and the shoulders rotating that way, when we come back we're more rotational this way on the way back down, we're a lot shallower into the golf ball, and we can rotate nicely, get a nice clean strike. In time in the lower half we move a little bit more, but it's not really that much far behind where it needs to be, I wouldn't say. It's just sometimes you've got a little bit slidey back and forth, it wasn't used to coming through. But overall I think the general swing itself was very, very good. And we can just get a little bit more of that right hip going back, as we said. We can see now how much it's going back there though from a good start. Head staying nice and still over the golf ball there, and that right hip just turned back nicely. Help us create a good sort of shoulder turn there, as opposed to that sort of slide you had before. So gets a lot more stable base. We can swing back. You can swing through nicely. Good finish. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. Very good, mate.